Let's talk about the Olympics. It's about midway through, a little more than midway through, and it has been awesome. Now,
is that because America is winning?
You know, I will say that this time they are very unnationalistic in their presentation of the Olympics. Unfortunately,
we're not as cocky as we normally are.
No, I'm just in our presentation. I don't know what it is, but you're less likely
humble sports studs.
You're less likely to determine where people are from when they're competing.
Used to have the USA.
Well, no, not as much as not as much. I mean, there's some of that, but they used to have the graphics up all the time, and everything would be USA.
Toned it down.
Every country has. It's less nationalistic and more of a competitor of almost eminent of a one world.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
That's what it is. I know, but it used to take on the nationalistic kind of tone.
Right.
And I loved it because, I like biathlon, as I say.
I think the biathlon is highly underrated. I think it's one of the most exciting, interesting sports. And it's really hard to do. If you ever both cross-country skied and shot a rifle, the two don't go together.
Well, they do go together when you're in Norway and Finland. And,
but it is
10th Mountain Division.
Yeah, and it is
when you're out there skiing and trying to shoot Afghanis. It comes in handy.
And you should see the skis that we used to give the 10th Mountain Division, because I used to ski on them. They weren't quite cross-country skis. They weren't quite downhill skis, and the bindings were sort of like really bad rental skates at an ice rink.
Well, now it's different. You give your horses and skis. Yeah. But, and so curling.
Curling?
Don't
tell me curling is now getting wide interest.
Last night at the glorious South Park Tavern, or 2 nights ago. It always gets confusing when you're talking about South Park, but we had hockey on one and curling on the other, and everybody was mesmerized.
By the hockey.
Well,
not the curling.
The Canadian curling women, Cheryl Bernard, is absolutely...
Hey, okay.
And, if you look at it, the coverage now in the sports that are covered is that if you actually look at a lot of the things that are going on, it's a beautiful... even though you don't have things on in prime time, you have 3 different channels. Hockey's in HD. The best.
Hockey in HD is going to finally get people to understand what's going on.
Same way with soccer. I'm going to tell you, Americans.
You need a bigger field of view, and 16:9 does that. So, and you can see the puck for once.
52-inch HD, and I'm standing 2 feet next.
Greg, bad news for you. People have bigger than 52 inches.
I know. So what? But if you really want to be, you should really get involved in Olympics. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful, thing going on this year. You should really watch the hockey because Gary Bettman, if you don't know,
he's the commissioner of
the NHL. He's trying to stop them from occurring, from the Olympics playing next time. I think he's sorely underrated. There's an article today about it that you are watching if you watch it, you are watching some of the best hockey ever produced in the world. It's just great.
When we didn't have the pros, NHL playing and the Miracle on Ice, what we didn't realize was the Russian teams were all pros. That was the difference.
That's what made it the Miracle on Ice.
And that's what made it so amazing. Now we're starting to see, really the best talent. The problem is these guys don't get enough time together to really gel as a team.
I know, but what it shows is that the NHL is worldwide.
The NHL is worldwide, and it's too bad we don't have international play more often and teams in other countries and stuff, but they all come here. But hey.
But I think that's perfect. If you look at the NHL and what it does, it's a great organization, but every 4 years, they should let these players showcase.
Oh, yeah. It's no doubt about that.
It's been just, I know you haven't seen as much.
I haven't seen as much as you have because I've been working.
Alex, you've been working. I've been,
you're going to go on about Ovechkin, right?
Alexander Ovechkin. He just leveled Jaromir Jagr.
Well, and then there's all of a sudden Sid the Kid's not looking so hot now that he doesn't have his
Evgeny Malkin, his Russian.
He's looking better. On his own, from what I'm hearing, Malkin
is really good. So tonight, even though you won't see this, tonight Canada, there's hockey every hour on the hour. The USA just beat Swiss barely. I mean, it was
Yeah!
It was a
And
well-done
American
game.
women are doing well.
Well,
American women are doing well.
Curling. Watch the Canadian curlers.
But here's something that I want to. This has been something locally that I would like to talk about. But in Russia they have their developmental sports leagues. It's controlled throughout the country. You have house leagues, and you have the elite teams, and they work their way up, and they have a farm system, so to speak.
Like the Dayton Dragons.
Well,
like baseball, kind of.
Kind of like baseball.
Okay.
But we don't really have those systems in play in all of our sports, and we really should. There should be sports authorities in areas and organized, so that the best players in the country do get a chance to play against the best players in the country. For an example, Cleveland is actually I was told this by Jack Vivian down at Miami before he left up for Detroit, but he used to run the Miami hockey program. He told me that Cleveland had more indoor rinks per capita than any place else in the world. And yet they were not producing NHL players because the rinks didn't work together. Everybody kept their star player. There was no developmental league. Detroit was the same way, and then CompuWare, a private company, stepped in and started this developmental league. And all of a sudden, Steve Yzerman pops up into the NHL.
They've done that with soccer.
Yeah,
it works with soccer.
We need to. We're talking about things that we can do for our youth, and part of it is really have the best sports programs available and have that sort of developmental thing structured throughout the country so that there is a true USA athletics all the way through. The problem with us, I think, is that we have but the improper college system where we enslave students for 4 years at a time for the NCAA.
And it makes money.
Yeah.
Watch the Olympics. We've gone on. I love the Olympics. I love international competition.